Live from the Average Joe Nation studios in St. Clair, Missouri. This is the Average Joe Podcast, a show that proves that in this crazy world, a combination of common sense and a C-plus average is actually a superpower. Sure, he's crazy, but what if he's right? Please welcome your host, Damon Gilbert.
All right, I just want to make sure we're clear on this. I am not a person who takes pleasure in someone else's misfortune. I'm just not like that. Right? Yeah, I am. As a matter of fact, I can't believe I said that without laughing immediately. Of course I am. I'm like any other human being on the planet. When somebody you don't like or somebody who deserves it gets paid back, hey, there's a little Schadenfreude, I believe is what the Germans call it. A little pleasure in somebody else getting what they deserve, right? I can't believe I even said that with a straight face. I had a heck of a time getting that out without busting out laughing. Of course I'm like that. I don't wish them any harm. I don't want them dead. But I mean, when you get paid back for something that you've done, I mean, you know what they say, what goes around comes around, and karma and all that. Of course, I'm thrilled. I think it's hilarious. I dismiss it the next minute. Again, I don't want anything bad happening to them. No, I'm not asking for their execution if they've done something, stupid. But at the end of the day, of course I take pleasure in that. You wouldn't be human if you didn't do it, and I admit to that. So there you go. So, why am I talking about this? Well, I'm talking about this Washington Post blogger, okay? Her name is Taylor Lorenz. I don't know if you've heard about this. You may have saw it in a little blip or something, or out of the corner of your eye. But she's getting paid back for something she did. She took it upon herself. Now, she's done this more than once. She is one evil. This is what's wrong with the media today. This woman works for the Washington Post, okay? She's not some person living in a double wide out on 50 acres, sitting in their chair with Cheeto dust on their wife beater, typing in something on Twitter or Facebook. And no, this person is a legitimate. They consider her a legitimate journalist, which I think is hilarious. If you actually consider this woman a journalist, then journalism, as I've said before in the past, is completely dead in America when it comes to mainstream media, and this is a perfect example of it. She got a taste of her own medicine, okay? I don't know if you know the story, but apparently there is a Twitter account out there. It's called Libs of TikTok, okay? And it's an account run by a popular conservative. It's a woman, and she's in real estate. She does this on the side. What she does is she posts on Twitter TikTok videos of liberals showing their ass, basically. Being so disgusting, being outrageous, especially at schools in America, okay? They're doing things in schools that are just beyond belief. We're going to get into that in just a second here. But what she does is all she does is repost videos. And that's all she does. She reposts videos of liberals doing crazy stuff. Okay, well, apparently this Taylor Lorenz took offense at that and said that that's not right. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. And what'd she do? She doxed her. Now, I did not know what doxing meant. And if you're younger, you probably know. I had to really do some research on it. Apparently, doxing is in the digital world, the web world. It means that, because when you go on these sites, you basically are anonymous, right? You come up with a handle like, Mr. Big Guy 1257 or whatever, and you post, and actually no one knows who you are. So if you say something outrageous, there's really no retribution. You may be kicked off the platform or something, but at the end of the day, you can do that. Well, apparently this Washington Post, and I don't want to keep saying her name. I said it once, and I'll say it one more time. Taylor Lorenz, okay? And I don't want to give her any credit, and I don't like saying her name, so I'm going to say, from this moment forward, I'm going to say the idiot, okay? We're going to use that as her new name, the idiot. Okay, so the idiot decided it would be a good idea to find out where this woman works, what her name is, her home address, her phone number, and publish it. Okay? Put it out there so that basically you could go to her home and harass her. Okay? Now, she did not tell everyone to go to her house and harass her or to do anything dangerous or do anything violent. She didn't say that. She didn't come around and say that. But when you put someone's phone number and their home address, what do you expect people to do? What do you think is going to happen? Now, is she liable for that if something happens to this woman? I think she is. I think she is, as well as the Washington Post. And now the Washington Post is trying to back off on that. They're saying, I believe their thing was, the idiot is an accomplished and diligent. This was a post by the Washington Post after this took place, because she got big pushback on this. And they doxed her as well. The idiot got doxed. And she was crying on national television because her friends had been harassed and she had been harassed and all that. But it was okay to do it to this other woman, right? The hypocrisy here is just, it's deafening. So, the idiot, this is what the Washington Post said, the idiot is an accomplished and diligent journalist whose reporting methods comport entirely with the Washington Post professional standards. If that's true, then you are in, nothing more needs to be said. If this comports with your professional standards, it's pathetic. The Washington Post is a joke. It always has been. But I mean, this is absolute proof positive that these people are beyond help, okay? Now, this gal, her name is Shaya Rashik, I guess it is. It says in her management of the Libs of TikTok Twitter account and in media interviews has had significant impact on public discourse, and her identity had become public knowledge on social media. We did not publish or link to any details about her personal life, which is an absolute lie, because they did do it. And people with the Wayback Machine and archiving and all that found that they had edited that part out of their post. They gave her address, her name, where she worked. Okay? Now they're trying to backtrack. And they're trying to protect the idiot, which I think is hilarious. This woman is getting, the woman on the head of Libs of TikTok, she's getting more notoriety than she could have asked for. You couldn't pay for this kind of notoriety. So she's going to do really well at the end of the day. And the things that they're posting are not really, they're not really bad. I mean, they're not really bad. They're just reposts of other things people have put on TikTok. I don't see the big deal. If you're proud of what you put on TikTok, wouldn't you be proud that it was on Twitter and somebody had reposted it? Well, the problem is these people are all lunatics. These people, she's picking out, this woman from Libs of TikTok, she's picking out the craziness in the liberal world today. It's unbelievable. Now, having said that, okay, let's go backwards to 2015. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this woman's name, but her name is Pamela Geller. Okay, she wrote a book that was critical of Islam. Okay, this was after the attack on the newspaper, I believe it was in France, where they killed a bunch of people because of a cartoon that was drawn supposedly of Muhammad. I don't know if you remember that or not. I'm trying to think what the name, Charlie Hebdo, I guess it was, Hebdo. That was the name of the newspaper, and they killed a bunch of people. A bunch of radical Muslims went in there and killed several people. And Geller, this Pamela Geller, she organized a Draw Muhammad contest. She'd written a book called Fatwa, Hunted in America. Okay, it was critical. It was critical of Islam. And so apparently the idiot didn't like that. And she doxed Pamela Geller at that time. Pamela Geller had already had a fatwa issued against her. She was actually had a bounty out for her. And they had attempted to try to kill her. Radical Muslims had tried to kill this woman. This is back in 2015. So I guess the idiot thought it would be a good idea. She posted online Pamela Geller's children's names and where they go to school. Okay? So in other words, she's letting ISIS and all the fundamentalist, crazed Muslims, they knew exactly where they went to school. It's beyond belief. It really is. This woman, this Geller, or no, not Geller, I'm sorry, the idiot, is getting exactly what she deserves. She's getting a taste of her own medicine. And that's what I think is what it's actually wonderful. And the thing is, here's just to give you an example of what she's protecting. Okay, that the idiot says that this shouldn't be reposted on Twitter. Now, mind you, it's on TikTok. So if it's on TikTok, what does it matter if it's put on Twitter? Let's see. It's a video of now get this. It's a fish gender person who uses toy and fish as pronouns. And there's a little video of her talking. Yeah. Number 2, there's a gigantic woman, weighs about 500 pounds, shoving a spoonful of peanut butter into her belly button. Yeah. Yeah, she's a liberal. She's all over that. Okay. Here's another one. A drag queen teacher who performs at school. Okay, students in I don't know where it was. School, I'm not sure with it. It must have been I don't know what school it was. Anyway, they were treated to a drag queen performance by a drag teacher during school hours. Yeah. Let's see. Number 4 is a crazed white woman who attacks a black man in the name of Black Lives Matters. Yeah. That's another one she's protecting. How about this one? The teacher. Now, this is a teacher. This is a substitute teacher who browsed through a sex toy website during history class. Up on the screen. She got fired for it. Let's see. Middle school staff in New Jersey held an assembly to promote masturbation. Yeah. This is the type of people that this woman thinks this shouldn't be reposted, to point out how crazy these people are. It just goes on and on. We got a med school student who abused a patient for making a joke about pronouns. She made sure to poke him twice. She was trying to take blood out of him. She said, I missed his vein, so he had to get stuck twice. Yeah, she bragged about that on TikTok, and all that this gal from Libs of TikTok, all she did was repost it. Yeah. Let's see, what's another one here? Oh, yeah, transgender man who cackles after entering the woman's restroom. He's doing a TikTok video on that, showing him going into a bathroom. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This is the kind of sick mentality that this lunatic left has got. And now it's okay for her to dox a private citizen and point out where she works, where she lives, her phone number, her address, everything. That's okay. But then when they turn the tables on her and they dox her, then all of a sudden we're on TV crying that she's being harassed, phone calls, my friends are being doxed, all this, and we're supposed to feel sorry for her. Bottom line, she's an idiot. There's no getting around it. How she keeps a job is beyond me. And one of the reasons she did this was for the notoriety. Because in today's world, there is no such thing as bad press. There just isn't. Because if the Washington Post fires her, she'll just go to the New York Times. Although she has worked there before. She's worked in about 6 or 7 different places. So I don't know if it's about her personality or that. She's a lunatic. I've never seen anything like this. This kind of stuff has got to stop. It really does. You either take your medicine or you keep your mouth shut. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to get treated like this, then don't treat other people like this. I mean, that all goes back to when you were raised as a kid, right? I mean, I was. I mean, what's the old saying? You know, if you're not going to say anything nice, don't say anything at all. The same thing applies here. You know, just if you want to go after that, if you want to make fun of it, whatever, it's no big deal. But you can't out a person because there are crazies out there. And this woman knew that. This woman knew this. The idiot knew this. She knows that if she posts her phone number and her address, there will be people, the crazed, showing up at her doorstep. She knew that. Now, did she come right out and say, hey, I want you to go over there, cause trouble, treat this woman like crap, throw stuff, throw bricks at her windows and stuff like that? No, she didn't say that. But she's implying it. Why else would you give someone their phone number and their address? This is sickening what's going on in the world today. It really is. I've never seen anything like it. And this is not the first time she's done this. This Geller story is one of many that she's done. When she doesn't like someone, she outs them. That's what she does. And the Washington Post should be ashamed of themselves. Jeff Bezos and everybody that runs the Washington Post should be ashamed of themselves. They should all resign, and they should just shut that rag down. Because if you're going to defend this kind of journalism, which I would argue the word journalism shouldn't even be used in that sentence, but if you're going to defend this kind of behavior, then you have no business being in any kind of journalistic position whatsoever. It's inexcusable what went on right here. Imagine yourself being outed, being given an address, your home address, for something you may have said. For instance, let's say you said something at a Walmart and someone heard it that you were standing in line with, and they didn't like what you were saying. So they posted all over Facebook that you said A, B, or C. And hey, by the way, here's where they live. Here's their phone number. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. This woman should be jailed for this, in my opinion. There is no excuse for this whatsoever. And obviously, without a doubt, she's a liberal. She's one of those. She's a crazed liberal. And she's in her 20s, looking for notoriety, hoping she makes a buck. That way she can add a zero to the next salary she gets. That's all this is about. She has absolutely no conscience, and I think people like this should be jailed for this. I really do. And they won't be. They won't be. She'll probably be given a Pulitzer Prize for this, the way the world works anymore. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't know if you knew about that, but I had to say something about it because it just infuriated me. Because I can't imagine. I'm putting myself in the position of this poor woman who's running the libs of TikTok. She's trying to do her job, and she got people showing up at her place of business, calling her on the phone, maybe harassing her kids. She was on. I saw her on Tucker Carlson last night, and she says she's not backing down. She says there's no way. I will never back down from this. And I think in the process, she got 100,000 new followers. So they just did her a favor. They did her a favor in the long run. This will die down eventually, but at the end of the day, she's still pointing out the hypocrisy and the craziness on the left. And I know if you're listening to me, there aren't very many liberals that would listen to me because I don't care. But at the end of the day, if you know any liberals, ask them how they're going to defend this one. Ask them how they'd like to have phone calls and harassing at your private home. Yeah, there's just no excuse for this. So anyway, that's all I got today on that, and we will talk again tomorrow. And again, I thank you very much for listening. It's therapeutic for me, and it saves me that hourly wage or hourly cost of me sitting on the couch, right? Laying on the couch. You're like my psychiatrist, right? I can talk to you. So anyway, I appreciate that, and we will talk again. I'll be right back with the news.
If you think he's crazy, then what do we consider the rest of the world? You're listening to the Average Joe Podcast with Damon Gilbert.
All right, the first story today is a doozy, by the way. And remember this one. You may have already seen it, but I'm going to go over it anyway. BLM, Black Lives Matters, is silent when asked and confronted, with FBI data showing massive spike in black murder victims. Okay, 32% increase in 2020 compared to 2019. And a 43% increase over the 10-year average. Now, mind you, this is after our push for defund the police. These people are the biggest grifters I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that you buy into this at all leads me to believe that some people are just a little short on smarts. You know what I mean? And I'm not and I know BLM is a grifting group. There's no doubt about it. They go in and threaten corporations with protests and so forth, and usually the corporations fold. But at the end of the day, I've still been in St. Louis on occasion and seen people out protesting Black Lives Matters. Not as many as there used to be. But do you get the feeling sometimes that these people aren't that bright? And that I mean, seriously, do you answer the Saudi prince that's looking to get away from, the email, the con? How many of these people, they must be easy pickings is the only thing I can figure out. Because there's no way you could look at what's going on today, unless all you do is listen to MSNBC and CBS and CNN. I mean, if you do that, then yeah, you probably would not have it. But that just shows you're an idiot, as far as I'm concerned. You should look around a little bit, check things out. But BLM, silent when confronted. I think that's absolutely epic that they didn't say a word about this. They don't want to confront it at all because it proves everything they said to be wrong. It does. It does. There's nothing. They have done absolutely nothing for the Black community. Zero. Big fat goose egg. That's exactly what they've done for the Black community. They've enriched themselves. Oh, they've done real well, buying houses and doing this and that, and then defending the purchase of homes with Black Lives Matter money. It just doesn't get any better than that. It just doesn't. Let's see. Oh, yeah, in Florida, Ron DeSantis, he's moving to revoke Disney's privileged tax status, which I think is just heroic in my book. And if Trump doesn't run for re-election, this is my guy right here. He's got balls of steel. He really does, and he does exactly what the Republicans should do. They should take a chapter from his book and read it. This guy is spot on. This is how you fight back. You just don't lay there and feel sorry for yourself. I mean, like Mitch McConnell and that group. No, you don't say, well, we'll have to reassess. No, you don't. You attack. You go for the jugular. This is the way to do it. You make Disney pay for this stupidity they're pulling off down in Florida. You make them pay, and you make them pay big time. And we're talking about $200 million that they're going to have to pay out now. That's per year, okay? In new taxes, they're gonna strip them of their special zoning. I think they're going to make them start adhering to local zoning laws. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. The old story, and I swear to God, you go woke, you go broke, or no, get woke, go broke, whatever. Point is, if you're going to be woke, you're going to lose money. There's no doubt about it. You can't. There are more of us than there are of them. There just are. There just are. This is a teeny tiny minority of the American public. Don't let anybody kid you. Don't let anybody kid you. Teeny tiny, just a sliver of the population in the United States buys into this crap, and they're trying to tell me and you how we're going to live our lives. How dare you do that? Yeah, and I'm with Ron DeSantis. You're going to do that, you're going to pay through the nose, because I guarantee you, they're not going to move out of Florida. They're not. No. They're going to be there, and they're going to have to live with this. And I think it's fantastic. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the CDC is asking the DOJ to appeal the ruling overturning transportation mask mandate. For the life of me, I don't know why they're doing this. This is the dumbest thing ever. Whether or not it goes through, I don't know. But Psaki, the White House press secretary, this is what it all boils down to, folks. This is what it all boils down to. Psaki admitted that the White House would fight the ruling in order to, and this is quotes, preserve the authority for the CDC to have in the future. That's what this is all about. They want to be able to do this again when they need to. And it wouldn't surprise me if it isn't this fall. Okay? So I'm hoping that the Supreme Court, which is going to take a while to get this even looked at again. Yeah, there's no way the Supreme Court's going to take this up immediately. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll take it up at all. I think they'll say, you know what, we're not even going to look at this. Federal judge ruled on this. We're not going to overturn her. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I could be dead wrong on that. But again, it's all about protecting power. It's not about science. It has nothing to do with that. They want to be able to control you every day of your life. That's what this is all about. So let's see. Oh, first of all, I want to ask a question. And I know it's rhetorical because you can't answer me, but who the hell is Darren Barnett or Barnett? I don't know. Apparently he's a Netflix star. Never heard of him. Never heard of this dude. Couldn't care less who this clown is. He's a young punk. I did get a picture of him. He looks like one of the soy boys is what he looks like. But anyway, that's really not the issue here. But Victoria's Secret is launching a new gender-neutral style. They call it Athleisure Collection. Okay? Now, I don't know about you, but I'm from the old school. And I kind of like the old school. I kind of like it where there's men and women, stuff like that, opposite sex. And as far as I was concerned, Victoria's Secret was strictly about women, or should be. We had the angels. I mean, all beautiful. Lingerie, all that, nice smells. They look pretty. The whole deal. It's about women. At the end of the day, Victoria's Secret is insane doing this. I mean, it's about women, and I won't go into the details. Everybody knows how this works. If you're heterosexual, you know how this works. Okay. Victoria's Secret, you see a Victoria's Secret box, a guy's eyes perk up. His ears perk up. His eye, it's like, really? Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see a Victoria's Secret with a guy holding the bag. That's retarded. And I use that word, and it's true. That is stupid. Yeah, I've never heard of such a thing. Victoria's Secret, they are really playing with fire here. They really are. Yeah, so I don't know. This is insane. I thought I'd never live to see the day when this happened. It was bad enough when they decided to take the angels, the Victoria's Secret angels or whatever, that off TV. That was ridiculous. I mean, that's what it's all about. Come on. Most of the time they got more clothes on than when women walking on the beach. Come on, give me a break. What's the big deal? But anyway, at the end of the day, I didn't know who Darren Barnett, but apparently he's going to be one of their models for the Athleisure Collection. Well, I can tell you right now, I ain't buying none of that crap. And I won't watch a commercial about it or anything. So we're just going to protest that way. That's the way I'm going to do it. I've never seen anything like it. Most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's see. Oh, yes. I don't know if you knew about this one or not, but there's a report coming out right now that shows that the Saudi prince, now this is the guy from Saudi Arabia, he's the prince. I can't remember what his name is, but anyway, he shouted at Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, for lecturing him over the Khashoggi killing in 2018. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Khashoggi was a bit critical of the Saudi prince, and Khashoggi just showed him. He had him killed in Turkey. So the story goes. Okay. Not only did he have him killed, he had him dismembered in the hotel room and carried out in pieces in suitcases. Okay. Now, this was during 2018. This was when Trump was in office. And Trump was asked about it, and Trump said, hey, none of my business. And he is 100% accurate. And that's why the Saudi prince would not take Joe Biden's phone call about increasing production in oil, because he's pissed off at him. He pissed him off about this. I mean, the United States has no right to lecture anyone on human rights. They just don't. I mean, not while you've imprisoned people from January 6th. From what I understand, you're torturing them. You're not charging them. You're keeping them locked up. You want to talk about human rights? Come on. How many children did we kill in Iran with sanctions? Yeah, 500,000, they think, and that's on the low side. How many people did we kill when we went into Iraq or Syria or Libya? Come on, We got a lot of nerve talking to anybody about human rights. You get your own house in order, then maybe you can talk to someone else about it. Yeah. If you live in a glass house, you shouldn't throw stones, right? Yeah. Anyway, this Saudi prince, I'm not a big fan of his. He looks like an evil SOB, but he's got a point here. And he yelled, apparently, at Jake Sullivan for lecturing him. How dare you lecture another country? They have different customs. In Saudi Arabia, you get caught stealing in some of their markets, they'll cut your hand off. Okay? So, at the end of the day, we don't say anything about that. What do we do in the United States when you get caught stealing? We let them go. We write them a check. Hey, come back and see us sometime. Yeah, that's the way we do it. Yeah, especially if you're black. Sorry, it's true. Let's see. Oh yeah, San Francisco Fed Reserve President. Her name is Mary DeLay, I believe it is. This will comfort you. She said Wednesday, inflation is unlikely to fall to 2% this year. She said, I couldn't believe she said this. She says, hope to be there in 5 years. She's hoping that we'll be at 2% inflation in 5 years, folks. She's blaming COVID and a war in Ukraine. Like I said, like I predicted, again, I've been vindicated. Of course, that's what they're going to do. They're going to blame COVID and the war in Ukraine because that's a great thing to blame everything on. But we're going to go, I guess we're going to go 7-8% inflation for the next 3 or 4 years. And hopefully, at the end of 5 years, we'll have it under control down to 2%. Great. I'm sure that makes everybody who's listening to this feel fantastic because it does me. It does me to know that we have people with this kind of intellect and this kind of ability in charge of things. Ugh, unbelievable. Number 7. I did an article on about the Durham Probe, right? And I don't know about you, but this John Durham, have you seen the picture that they continue to use of him? Every time you see a article about this, they show this one picture where he's not smiling, and he looks like something from the Old West, like he's a gunslinger. Have you noticed that? I find that odd. You would think that there would be another picture of this guy somewhere in the archives that you could use, maybe a younger version of him. This guy looks like Hopalong Cassidy or I don't get it. I don't get it. Why you would not say, hey, do me a favor, use a different picture. He doesn't do that. But anyway, the John Durham Probe. At the end of the day, who cares, right? Nobody's going to jail, folks. Nobody. Nobody's going to jail. They could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Clinton campaign spied on the Trump campaign, that the DOJ was involved, that the FBI was involved. They could prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt. A shadow of a doubt. You could have endless evidence that proves that this guy did this and Hillary Clinton was involved. And guess what? Nobody's going to jail. So what are we doing this for? Why are we doing this? If anybody goes to jail, it's going to be some guy like the Sussman. Yeah, it's some guy way down the line. He's not. He's going to go to jail. Why are we bothering with this? It actually infuriates me to see anybody talking about the Durham Probe. This stuff happened almost 10 years ago. Okay? Not 10 years ago, but it's been quite a while. Well, it's 4 or 5, 6 years ago. And we're just now getting here. We're going to have this big trial and whatnot. Give me a break. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night, okay? Nothing's going to happen here. Zero. As far as Hillary Clinton, she's going to dodge it. Because I tell you what, here at the end of the day, folks, here's the way it works, and you know this as well as I do. When you get into the Beltway, when you make it to that level, you're a senator, a congressman, for the most part, and you work the deal, and you make friends, and you have protection, and you have money and fame, and when you're in that DC area, it's like the center of hell, basically. Yeah, and once you're in there and Satan's on your side, nothing's going to happen to you. Nothing. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. You think Nancy Pelosi's ever going to jail for anything? Not a chance. Not a chance. You think Feinstein out in California is going to ever pay for the fact she had a Chinese spy, as her chauffeur for years? No, of course not. Nobody's going to jail. This is a waste of time, a complete and total waste of time. It's a waste of paper. You shouldn't even print anything about it. I'm sick of hearing about the Durham Probe. I really am. Because if something was going to happen, it happened already, or it should have. And I'm tired of hearing about Trump's taxes and all that nonsense, too. You don't ever put the king in jail. You just don't. Clinton got away with it. Bush got away with it. Obama got away with it. Everybody, all those guys should be behind bars. And they're not. And they're not. So I rest my case. Let's see. Oh, Musk has secured $46.5 billion in financing for the Twitter purchase. $33 billion of it is his own. Okay, well, again, so you're dealing with people who, I don't know if you've seen, but the people on the board of Twitter own very little stock. Now, they are under an obligation to do the best for their shareholders. Okay, it's kind of a rule. Yeah, it's a rule. It says, hey, if you're going to be on the board of a company, you have to look out for the best interest of your shareholders. That's just the way it works. That's what you're supposed to do. And they're not doing it. Now, will anyone sue them for that? Will anyone take them to court? I don't know. I don't know how this is all going to end. But I think it's funny that Musk has gotten the financing together. You got to hand it to the guy. I still think he's a con man at the end of the day, but he's a very good one. I'll give him that. I don't know. It would be funny to find out that Trump's part of this financing deal. Oh, I'd love that. that would be the ultimate, but I doubt it. But he's got his financing together. I mean, he said in the next 10 days he's going to make a move. And at the very least, I hope it destroys Twitter. That's what I hope it does. Because I know everybody that's working there, I think they're having to take days off because they're so stressed. And if you see any of the pictures of these people on TikTok or on Twitter and that, I've seen clips of it. They're pathetic. They're the biggest bunch of candy asses I've ever seen in my life. Grow a set, for Christ's sake. Right? Come on. Be a tough guy. Or at least act like it. My God. Go out and actually, beyond a shadow of a doubt, reveal that you're the biggest coward I've ever seen in my life by making a Twitter or a TikTok video about how scared you are. I mean, come on. Are you people have no self-worth? No pride? For God's sakes, I've never seen anything like it. So, anyway, moving right along. Let's see. Oh, this is the final one. Yeah, I don't know if you know who this Coons is. I'm trying to think if I can't remember what his first name is. Anyway, he's the senator from Delaware who took Joe Biden's spot when he became vice president. And apparently Sunday, it was Sunday, he's on Face the Nation. He said some things that he soon regretted. He's trying to be a tough guy, which you got to hand it to him. That's fair. At least don't act like a wuss. But through the interview, he was on there with Margaret Brennan, who I don't know who the hell that is. I mean, I haven't watched Meet the Press or Face the Nation in 20 years. It's the biggest waste of time. They're pathetic. They're pathetic, especially when Upchuck Todd was on there. Todd from MSNBC or NBC. Chuck Todd, the dude with the mustache and the goatee. The goatee. He's an idiot. I can't stand him. But anyway, Coons said in his statement, she was asking him a question. Excuse me. Let's see. It says, Margaret asked him, now again, I don't know who Margaret is, said, in some public remarks this week, you said the country needs to talk about when it might be willing to send troops to Ukraine. You said, if the answer is never, then we are inviting another level of escalation and brutality by Putin, which the brutality part is debatable. I mean, I could go into that, but I'm not going to. And he said, she also said, are you arguing that President Biden was wrong when he said he would not send troops to Ukraine? Are you asking him to set a red line? And then he says, Margaret, I think those of us in Congress who have a critical role in setting foreign policy and advising the president in terms of his decisions as commander-in-chief, yada, yada, yada. Okay? And then he starts stroking President Biden, talking about his leadership and how he's done great and it's steady and constructive. Oh, biggest bunch of horse crap I've ever heard. This statement right here, if you get a chance to read it sometime, look it up. It's Chris Coons. I'm sorry, Chris Coons. He's Delaware senator. This could be the biggest pile of steaming horse shit I've ever read in my life. It is the epitome of stroking someone. It just beyond measure. It's impossible to describe how pathetic this is. But nonetheless, in the very last part of it, he says, and I quote, the American people, not the West, he says the American people cannot turn away from this tragedy in Ukraine. I think the history of the 21st century turns on how fiercely we defend freedom in Ukraine, and that Putin will only stop when we stop him. Now, what's that sound like to you? If you're a rational human being who's got an IQ over 100, what does that tell you? He starts the paragraph off with, his statement off, the American people. And then later he calls it we and we. We need to stop him. Sounds like Americans, right? To you? Yeah, Well, apparently old Chris here got a phone call between Sunday and Tuesday and said, I don't know what they told him, but he backtracked on that big time. Yeah, he said, you know what? On second thought, maybe we don't need to send troops in. Yeah, no kidding, Chris. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, he said what he meant by that was the West needs to do more. Yeah, these guys are so pathetic. They really are. I swear to God, if I knew a politician, I wouldn't want to be friends with a politician. They're the biggest liars. They will lie to you right to your face, and I mean, and then laugh about it later. This guy he's a pathetic. This Chris Coons is pathetic. He's a pathetic excuse for a human being. He really is, with no conscience whatsoever. Anyway, I'm on a bit of a roll today. I've about had it with these people. I don't know about you, but I mean, I have just had my fill of this hypocrisy. My God, I've never seen anything like this. These people, there are days when I can take it better than others, and this ain't one of them. If you know what I mean. And I know you've had those days too. You had those days. I mean, the kids get on your nerves or something. Everything goes down. I mean, it just drives you nuts. And as far as that's concerned, anything in my life is pretty good right now. But I mean, to read this and to see this time and time again, and they are so out there. It just amazes me. But anyway, that's all I got today. Hope I could be entertaining, if nothing else. And I appreciate you listening. And you got any comments? Let them fly on my website because I love hearing from you. So anyway, that's all I got today, and it is April 21st, and Joe Biden is the worst president in American history. Let's go, Brandon.
As always, thanks for listening to the Average Joe podcast. Be sure to check out our website at www.averagejoenation.media and follow us on social media. Remember, if you haven't told all your friends, you're wrong.